What up, YouTube? Tim Moose here. Since this month I'm doing my reviews for past May films, here's my review for the 2003 comedy Bruce Almighty. Now, Bruce Almighty premiered on May 23rd, 2003, and it starred the likes of Jim Carrey, who plays this character named Bruce Nolan, who's pretty successful in the as a news anchor and all. And his career in the TV has been starred for a while, and he's pretty much passed over the commit Anchorman position here, and he ends up losing it and complains that God is treating him poorly, and soon after he ends up meeting God, who's portrayed by Morgan Freeman, and he pretty much contracts Bruce and offers him all of God's power. And so now Bruce pretty much thinks he's God and everything, and he's using God's powers for good, like sometimes good, sometimes not. I guess to say it's a bit like a superhero film in a weird way. But anyway, now Bruce Almighty was also directed by Tom Shadak, who did a really decent job directing. Now Tom's directed some other pretty decent movies over the years as well. He of course did Dragonfly. That's not so good. He also gave us films such as The Night Professor, Patch Adams. He also directed Jim Carrey and Liar Liar. He's directed some pretty decent hits and misses over the years. But anyway, now the movie also has Jennifer Aniston, who actually plays Bruce's girlfriend. Jennifer Aniston is terrific in this. You also had the always great Phil Baker Hall, Lisa and Walter. You also had Steve Carell as Evan Baxter. This was actually before this movie came out, I believe, before The Office came out. And I guess it was like one of the movies that really put Steve Carell on the map. Then, of course, 4 Year Virgin happened, and then he became a little bigger than The Office and all that. But, of course, they did spin off Steve Carell's character, Evan Baxter, with, Evan Almighty, which was not so good. You even had Tony Bennett, who portrayed himself. It was really cool to see Tony Bennett pop up here. This movie is hilarious. The God power stuff is definitely really cool. Like I said, this movie definitely feels like a superhero film at times. It's not a superhero movie or anything like that, but at times it really does feel like a superhero because he gets powers of God and he has to learn how to, use them wisely. And Morgan Freeman, he is God. I love Morgan Freeman as this role. He's so perfect as the role of God. His interaction with Jim Carrey's Bruce is really fun to watch. This movie is definitely has some really highs, lows in it. Uh, the new stuff was pretty cool, like when he's controlling Evan and all that. That was actually pretty funny. Uh, this is definitely a really fun comedy worth checking out. It premiered all the way back on May 23rd, 2003. It's a comedy that still holds up today. Sad to say, it did not really get the best reviews though. It actually has 48% on Rotten Tomatoes and 57 on. So I really thought this movie did pretty well with critics actually. Shame, that's a little disappointing to read, but Bruce Almighty is still hilarious. One of my favorite Jim Carrey roles, believe it or not. Jim Carrey doesn't really do these type of roles as he used to. Of course, back in '90s, 2000s, Jim Carrey was always the man. Whether you talked about The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Bruce Almighty is definitely one of his best roles in my opinion. I always would love to see him come back for the role in the future. There was rumors about another one, but it never really came to fruition. But man, if you guys have never really seen Bruce Almighty, you can actually find it on where can you find all those? Well, you can find it on Hulu or Netflix. That's surprising, but you can find it on Fandango Now, Vudu, Prime Video, Apple TV. Give it a watch. It's definitely a really fun one. Anyway, let me leave you guys. Have you ever seen Bruce Almighty? If so, watch it over. Were you a fan of it? Were you not a fan of it? Drop comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Tim Moose. Sign out.